You don't know the half of it. I hate everything.
But especially he hates himself.
Seriously, I hate myself more than most villains hate their arch enemies.
FlynnsArcade.
Hi, this is FlynnsArcade, and this is my video about the Monarch, self-loathing personified. The Monarch is the main antagonist of the Ventureverse and is one of the show's best-loved characters. He is best known for his evil laugh and his caustic sense of humour, his deep love for his wife and his dark obsession with Dr. Venture. But how well do you remember his story arc? In this video, I'm going to talk about his whole backstory and dissect what fuels his hatred. Spoiler warning! This is the complete history of the Monarch, and I will be talking about all the seasons plus the Venture Brothers movie. I know that some fans haven't seen the movie yet, so you have been warned. Origin story. Malcolm Fitzcarraldo, better known as the Monarch, survives a plane crash which killed his parents, and he claims that he was raised by wild monarch butterflies as one of their own.
They became my foster parents. These were the halcyon days.
But this is an incredibly sketchy backstory. Jackson Public says that he got the idea from a false memory he has of rescuing his friends from stampeding kangaroos on a school trip to the zoo. It definitely sounds like the fruits of a kid's overactive imagination. The story really doesn't stack up. Whilst there have been numerous accounts of feral children being raised by wild animals, both in fiction and in real life, the foster parents are always monkeys, wolves or dogs, our fellow mammals. Anyone who has thought of his tale for more than a few minutes will doubtlessly have a lot of questions. But it's best that you don't ask them. He likes his origin story because it gives him clout as a supervillain, so don't mess it up for him. If, like me, you've ever had more than a passing interest in conspiracy theories, you might have heard of Project Monarch, an alleged CIA mind control experiment which was written extensively about by Cathy O'Brien, who claims to have undergone the process. If you really want to go down the MKUltra rabbit hole, you'll notice that the imagery of monarch butterflies shows up quite frequently in reference to mind control experiments. All we know is at some point in his childhood, Malcolm became obsessed with monarch butterflies, so much so that he named himself after them. Let me know in the comments if you have any theories as to what actually happened to young Malcolm. I don't believe his actual story, but maybe you've got some good theories as to what genuinely went on. Parents. Mr. and Mrs. Fitzcarraldo were very wealthy socialites. Their name is reminiscent of the Werner Herzog film Fitzcarraldo, about a man obsessed with building an opera house in the Peruvian jungle. They lived in a palatial home, the Fitzcarraldo Mansion. Shout out to one of my favourite YouTubers, Kitty Monk. I learned from one of her videos that the design of the Fitzcarraldo Mansion is based on a real place, the Kruger Mansion. And if you ever find yourself in Newark, New Jersey, you can go and see it for yourself. I probably will if I ever find myself in that part of the world again. Malcolm was very young when they died, so he can't really remember them. But as their only descendant, once he turned 21, he was in line for a huge inheritance. Youth and young manhood. The first reliable sighting of the Monarch was his time at university, when he wrote really specific poems about monarch butterflies and he maimed Baron Underbite in an attempt to blow up Dr. Venture.
My first attempt to destroy Venture was admittedly a failure. Yes!
Malcolm, did you hear?
What?
T.S. Venture...
What? Tell me, is he dead?
No! He blew up Werner Underbite's face!
Upon collecting his inheritance, which included the Fitzcarraldo mansion and a huge amount of money, Malcolm wasted no time in spending it building a giant flying cocoon as a homage to his butterfly-related origin story. However, it doesn't appear that he thought this through particularly well. Throughout the run of the show, many characters have questioned his decision-making process regarding the cocoon. A giant flying butterfly would have made much more sense, and JJ once mistook it for a giant pine cone.
I'll give you 20 seconds to kiss your wife for the last time, then I finish you off, Mr. Evergreen.
I'm the monarch.
Oh, so the flying pine cones,
Cocoon. Okay, I'll be right back.
If you're enjoying this video, please can you do me a massive solid and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And now, on with the video. Dr. Girlfriend. It's impossible to talk about the monarch without mentioning his wife Sheila, once known as Dr. Girlfriend. The pair met when he was working for her then partner Phantom Limb.
Of course, cool. I mean, gladly. Yes, Master Lim.
Good. So,
And their relationship is one of the most functional in the whole of TV history. But it wasn't always plain sailing. Initially, Sheila was frustrated with his obsession with Dr. Venture and his dismissive behaviour and unappreciative attitude towards her.
I was meaning to talk to you about things and us.
Tensions finally hit boiling point upon the release of Henchman 21's tawdry memoir, The Flight of the Monarch, and in a fit of rage he booted her out of the cocoon.
If you can't calm down, I'm leaving.
You can't leave! I'm throwing you out! Get out of my cocoon, you whore!
And off she stormed to be reunited with her ex Phantom Limb. He soon regretted his actions and went to ask her back, but despite his best effort,
I made you the monarchs!
You are a monster!
All right. That was supposed to be romantic.
she was having none of it. And things went from bad to worse when the monarch was framed for the disappearance of a policeman by Phantom Limb. He was sent to prison and it looked like he was being set up for a long sentence, but he attempted to be a model prisoner and even took part in a programme to prevent wayward young people from turning to a life of supervillainy.
You think you're hot in a champagne glass, but you're really cold diarrhea in a Dixie cup.
But he wanted out, and help was to come from an unlikely source. His one-time attempted apist,
Hey, what the? Are you raping me?
No,
I
was gonna.
King Gorilla, helped him escape.
Won't be able to hold them off for long.
What changed your mind?
Believe it or not, love. It was there in your eyes when you spoke of your girlfriend. I always thought you were kind of a schmuck, but what kind of monster would I be to stand in the way of love?
Whilst in prison for reasons best known to himself, he'd ordered Henchmen 21 and 24 to destroy his cocoon. So he made his way back there to its husk and attempted to put his life back together. A lost soul. Although without Sheila, his life went on a downward spiral. He hired a crew of dangerous gangsters to work for him, and they later rebelled and took charge of the cocoon.
What, is this funny to you? I said hand over your firearm, or I will be forced to...
He launched a successful raid. But it was on his accountant's office.
This isn't the secret venture compound, it's your accountant's office.
What? Are you kidding? That was like my best entrance ever!
He picked the location by accident. He accosted a sex worker.
The cocoon will punish the wicked. The cocoon will reward the righteous. You must escape from her grasp. You must earn your freedom.
Dude, I really don't have time.
And slew Captain Sunshine's sidekick Wonder Boy in a fit of rage.
No one is invulnerable to justice. I'm going to make you pay for what you did to Wonder Boy.
He was in a very dark place without her. Villain and villainess. But help would come in the form of Dr. Henry Killinger, who reunited the couple, and the pair were married in a lavish ceremony in the cocoon.
Sorry.
Dearly beloved.
And despite Phantom Limb's best efforts to ruin the event, which culminated in the cocoon being destroyed for the second time.
Stop! It only seats two! Or would you prefer an escape butterfly?
The marriage went ahead, and the couple became villain and villainess, living in Phantom Limb's old mansion in a town called Malice. They work perfectly together. Sheila is level-headed and uses logic and reason to solve problems, but she lacked the drive and motivation to be a supervillain in her own right, and her attempts at being Lady Au Pair were unsuccessful. In turn, the Monarch is fueled by obsession and creativity, but he's a loose cannon and was incapable of completing a mission without her. Once reunited, they became a power couple. It seemed like nothing could stop them. Midlife crisis. However, suburban life had its challenges. The Monarch struggled to adapt to his new lifestyle and was prone to strange obsessions, much to the annoyance of Sheila. A particularly difficult incident was the time he became besotted with a new piece of equipment, the butter glider.
Let's make love! Butter glider!
Much to the chagrin of Sheila and the henchman.
Motherfucker! What the hell is that thing doing in our bed?
But thankfully, the butter glider incident was short-lived. Once the Monarch was reminded about his feelings for Dr. Venture, he returned to his true calling in life. Bête Noire.
I had true hatred with Venture. I didn't have to fake it. That sweet loathing just poured out of me whenever I saw his pathetic face.
There was always a sense of mystery as to why the Monarch hated Dr. Venture so much. He wasn't even his official arch-enemy. That role was reserved for Baron Underbite. But from the pilot episode onwards, the Monarch concocted dastardly schemes to menace Dr. Venture, including using Sheila as a honey trap to lure him into getting turned into a giant caterpillar.
I will remember these last few days with you as the happiest of my life. Well, except for the caterpillar part, I mean.
His hatred for Dr. Venture seemed to be his main motivation in life, but no one could fathom out why. However, as the years went by, clues started to emerge explaining the origin of his hatred. In this speech to Henchman 21, he discusses his deep sense of hatred. He hates pretty much everything.
You don't know the half of it. I hate everything.
But especially he hates himself.
Seriously, I hate myself more than most villains hate their arch enemies.
Much later on, during a routine arching session with Sheila, he discovered a photo of himself and the young Rusty Venture together on the lawn of the Venture compound as babies.
Look! That is me in that picture. I'm playing with Dr. Venture. Playing! Wee! Fun! Yay! And who's that in the background? Oh, nobody. Just my parents! Yes!
The two have shared a past, but in what way? Fate has often brought the two together during some key life events. Dr. Venture was the Monarch's best man at his wedding to Sheila. He also attended Hank and Dean Venture's homeschool prom.
Prom! Unbelievable. This is so good. Can't wait to see what 21 has planned.
And was even there for JJ Venture's funeral.
Hey, come on, man. Show a little respect, huh?
The pair shared deeply interlinked lives, but there was always a mystery as to what exactly bound them together. A blessing and a curse. Both the Monarch and Dr. Venture's lives were thrown into upheaval by the events of all this and Gargantua too. But things turned out very differently for them both. Dr. Venture was the sole heir to his brother's billions.
Great. What's left? The boat?
Only the multi-billion-dollar Venture Techno Industries Corporation, its various subsidiaries, and its brand new headquarters in New York.
Whilst the Monarch had lost everything. As a result of his ongoing feuds with Gary, Sergeant Hatred had blown up the cocoon with his hover tank. The third destruction of the cocoon would prove to be its final destruction. He's finally squandered away his inheritance, and it wasn't possible to rebuild it this time. Dr. Venture made his way to his flashy new life in a Manhattan penthouse, whilst the Monarch trudged off to the Fitzcarraldo mansion in Newark, with Sheila and henchman 21 staying loyally by his side.
Oh, so romantic. We're moving into the house you were raised in. It's like a fairy tale.
It didn't look quite this bad when I was a kid.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of place
The man cave. It wasn't just his arch-enemy who has found success. His wife Sheila had been talent spotted by the Guild of Calamitous Intent and had risen to their highest ranks. She had once been the monarch's second in command, but now she was running the show. Whilst he respected her accomplishments, he missed the glamour of running a flying cocoon and an army of henchmen. To make matters worse, the Fitzcarraldo mansion was dilapidated and their home became basically a building site. He desperately needed a fresh start, and he found one, in the most surprising of places. Malcolm had never really known his father, and remembered him from his reputation as a boozed-up socialite, but these memories were dashed once he discovered his secrets in the basement.
Right? Come on, let's just do it! It would be awesome! This is your damn birthright!
Stop! My wife is watching me like a hawk after that little stunt copycat pulled on me. Let's just turn this hole into the monarch's egg sack and impress the guild.
His dad had been a superhero, the Blue Morpho. His newfound legacy and superhero equipment were just what the monarch needed. He became the new Blue Morpho, and 21 became his new sidekick Kano.
Hey, we should totally swing over the Venture building.
What? No, we're not gonna swing anywhere! We're gonna bring this thing home!
Come on, just a quick flyby. I want to take a dump at his pool.
What he didn't know, though, was many years ago he had managed to incur the wrath of a very powerful enemy. Guerrilla campaign. Back in season 3, the monarch had unalived the hapless Dr. Dugong in a fit of rage. Unfortunately for him, Dr. Dugong was the brother of Wise Whale, a high-ranking supervillain, and Wise Whale wanted revenge and he knew how to get it. He arranged a deal with the guild to make him Dr. Venture's official arch-enemy, knowing that this would eat the monarch up with jealousy. Wise Whale was too busy to arch Dr. Venture himself, so he outsourced his arching to several lower-ranking villains. The monarch had found a use for his alter ego, the Blue Morpho. He launched a guerrilla campaign against the various villains and successfully defeated them all. However, his success came at a very high cost. He'd gone rogue and it had caused a rift in his marriage. The Ventureverse is built on a complex bureaucracy, and his wife was an architect of the bureaucracy. From her perspective, a crazed lunatic was systemically offing people she was charged to protect, and to make matters even more terrifying, she believed that her own husband could easily be the next victim of the Blue Morpho. At one point it looked like she was set to assassinate the monarch.
There he is, soaked in our brother's blood, literally red-handed. Take the shot, councilwoman.
But thankfully she didn't. He lived to tell the tale, and their marriage got back on track, but a greater mystery was about to unfold. The real Blue Morpho. Remember Don Fitzcarraldo, who was supposed to have died in a plane crash? Well, he didn't. He was resurrected as a cyborg by Jonas, and was later turned into an evil cyborg by Dr. Z. And he's been quietly holding a senior position in the guild for many years. Disorientated by the kicking he received from Brock in the bathroom of Don Hell's nightclub, he returned to the Fitzcarraldo mansion. This is a very long story, and I honestly think it would benefit from its own video. So to cut a long story short, Don was briefly reunited with his son for the very last time.
Get out of the way! Daddy?
A fresh start. The monarch then attempted to put his life back together. He embraced his true calling as a supervillain and tried his best with the support of his wife and his best friend to make a decent fist of it. He worked hard mentoring St. Cloud.
Oh goody, I'm being hazed by my big villain. I wear my rubber panties just in case you tickle me. I always make wee-wee with tickles.
And even managed to get the Guild's Top Earner Awards one month after Dean Venture paid him $1 million to leave him alone. But the mystery remains, how did he know Dr. Venture, and why did he hate him so much? The truth, finally. We know that in the very distant future the pair will go on to have a cordial relationship.
Get your finger. Don't touch anything else.
Crap, a caveman! And Malcolm? What are you doing in 70 million years ago?
But what happens now? For a long time it's been apparent that the Monarch and Dr. Venture are related in some way. Since meeting Dr. Tara Quinn, I figured that Jonas had other children, so I always assumed that the Monarch was Dr. Venture's half-brother, and his hatred was fueled by sibling rivalry. But finally we learned in the Venture Brothers movie that he isn't his half-brother. He's a clone, albeit one with Baboon DNA to prevent premature balding, which also explains why he's so angry. Remember the comment earlier about him hating himself more than anything? It all makes sense now. His feud with Dr. Venture was mostly played for laughs, which were made even funnier by the fact that Dr. Venture doesn't seem to return his feelings, he just seems to find him annoying more than anything. But now the whole thing makes complete sense, and it's utterly profound. The Monarch hates him because he is him. He sees all his worst aspects of himself in him, and that's what's fueled this decades-long vendetta. And I can't see it ending anytime soon. The story of the Monarch is hilarious and sexy and sad and annoying. It's a tragic saga, but it's filled with hope. His marriage to Sheila and his friendship with Henchman 24 are truly heartwarming, and his single-minded, dogged determination is inspirational. Please let me know in the comments what you think. When did you start to realise that the Monarch and Dr. Venture are related? Did you guess that they were clones? What did you think about the Monarch's sketchy backstory? Did you believe that he was raised by butterflies? And have you heard of the Project Monarch conspiracy theory? Do you think that could have been inspiration for Jackson when he came up with the Monarch's name? Did you notice the cocoon being destroyed on a semi-regular basis? If you don't know what to write, please drop me a Go Team Venture, or an Ignore Me, or a Spanakopter, or a Sphinx, because comments really help with the algorithm. If you're new to this channel, please check out my playlist. I made a lot of videos about the Venture Bros which you might enjoy. Welcome back to all my subscribers, you guys are awesome, and hello to any newcomers here. Thank you very much to my channel members. I'm looking to make more of these long form videos in future, so it really would be nice to get an input from channel members for future projects, so please sign up if you haven't already because it really helps the channel. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So that's all from me. Unless anything comes up in the meantime, I'll see you next Sunday.